So hi, I'm Sigal. I'm an algorithm team lead at Taboola. And today we are going to talk about how we optimize CVR with a CTR model. And if you are not familiar with this notion of CVR and CTR, don't worry, I'm going to explain them later. And if it's still not understood, so feel free to ask. So the agenda for my talk is, first of all, Taboola. I'm sure all of you are familiar with Taboola, but I'm still going to explain who we are and what we do. And then we are going to talk about the problem of accidental clicks and the solution we found to it. So Taboola, we are the leading content recommendation company in the world. We sit in the biggest publisher sites like Ynet in Israel or Bloomberg outside Israel. And what we do is when you read an article, after you finish it and you think what else you want to read, what you are going to be interested in now, we recommend you about the next item you want to read or to know. For example, if you read an article about what you are going to do in the upcoming holidays, and after you finish, we put an item about the nine best places to ski around the world. Okay, so we have a huge scale. We have 1.4 billion unique users per month. We have over 3 billion page views per day and over 500,000 HTTP requests per second. And the problem that we are trying to solve is how to match millions of content items with over a billion people every month. We want to give every user in every specific context, the item that will be most interesting for him. And we want to do it by making both publisher and advertisers happy. So the publisher is the one that the user is reading the article, and we put our recommendation into it, like Ynet and Bloomberg. And what the publisher wants is to have as much revenue as possible. So when you read Ynet, for example, you don't want to pay money to read Ynet. And we are a big source of revenue for the publisher, so they can create good content for you. And the publisher also wants their users to see items that make them feel comfortable and safe and that will fit their brand. So this is what the publisher wants. The user wants to see items that are interesting to him, that he's engaged with, and he wants to feel that we keep his privacy. And of course, he wants to feel safe and not to see something that make him feel uncomfortable. Now, the advertisers are very important because they are the ones that actually pay the money and for all of this to work. They are the ones that creating the content items that you see in the bottom of the article. And our business model is that they pay us money if you click on the item, if the user click on the item, they give us money that we shared with the publisher. And if there is no click, they don't pay anything. We have a large diversity of different advertisers. For example, we have Toyota that want the user to purchase a car. And we have other advertisers that want other things, like they want as much scale as possible, as much users to know them and to be in their site. So a little about the notions you're going to see in the following presentation. So we have the CTR, which is the click-through rate. This is the number of clicks we have per impression. So for example, if an item was recommended 100 times and it got one click, the CTR is 1%. The CPC is the cost per click. This is how much money the advertiser is willing to pay per click. The conversion or the action, this is a tricky part this is what the advertiser wants. And there is, as I said, there is large diversity of different advertisers, and there is large diversity of different conversions. So the advertiser is the one that's defining what action he wants. For example, one advertiser can decide that the action he wants is the user get to the bottom of the page, and another one decides that the action he wants is the user to leave his email. The CVR is the conversion rate, is how many conversions the advertiser got per click. And the CPA is cost per action. This is what really the advertiser want to optimize. And this is how much money paid to get the number of action. So for example, if we recommended an item 10,000 times, and this item got 100 clicks, so what is the CTR? 1%. And this item got 1 conversion. So what is the CVR? 1%. And if the advertiser is willing to pay $1 per click, so what is the cost per action? What is the CPA? $100, exactly, $100 per action. So now is the question, is 100 CPA is a lot or is it little? So it depending on the advertiser. If the advertiser just wants as much users to know his site and to visit his site, probably $100 per user is a lot. But if the advertiser wants to sell a car, and every action is users that left his mail or his phone number and interested to hear about his product, so probably $100 is a great CPA. So this is the core of Taboola. This is where the magic happens. We have millions of possible recommendations, and we have a user, a specific user. We know many things about him. We know what he's interested in. We know what is he reading right now. We know where is he from. We know the hour of day and day of week. And we want to give him the best item. Now, best is a tricky question because we have different stakeholders that we want to make happy. We want to make the user happy, we want to make the publisher happy, and we want to make the advertiser happy. And sometimes they want different things. Okay, so we have this ranking function. This is like the happiness function. It wants to make everybody most happy. And we give this function 3 variables. One of them is the CPC, the cost per click. And of course, that if the advertiser is willing to pay more per click, he will be more competitive and he will get a higher score. The other one is the estimated CTR. This is the prediction of what is the chance that the user in this specific context will click on this item. So we have a very cool deep learning model that we give him all these signals that I was talking about before. And the output of this model is the prediction of the predicted CTR for this user to this item. And the last one is the CVR, the predicted CVR, because we want the advertiser to be happy too. And this is also a very cool deep learning model, which is predicting the chance to get a conversion if the user had clicked. So what we do, we take our recommendations, we give each one of them a score, and then we rank them, and we give the user the items that has the highest chance to make everybody happy. Okay, so I was talking about it before, but let's go a little deeper into it. So let's say that the user has saw an item and he was interested in it and clicked on it. And he got to the website of the advertisers. In the website, there are many things the advertiser might want the user to do. Maybe you want the user to purchase something. Maybe you want the user to sign up and to get newsletter. Maybe you want the user to leave his mail or his phone number. Maybe you want him to add to cart some product. And maybe you just want him to explore as much as possible in his website. All those things can make the advertiser happy, but sometimes there are less happy cases where the user got to the advertiser website and he says, what, I didn't want to be here. And he bounced back, he closed the website. And we define those clicks as accidental clicks because the user didn't want to arrive to this place. And we say that if the user was less than 4 seconds on the advertiser page, so this click was accidental. There can be many reasons for why accidental click would happen. For example, if you scroll your mobile and the site is loading slowly and you're trying to go down and then you click on something you didn't even saw and didn't want to click on it, and you go to another page you didn't want to be here. And these accidental clicks raise a question of what are we going to do with them? Like, on one hand, they really happened. There was a click, the advertiser paid for it, and this click will happen in the future too. On the other hand, the user wasn't interested in this item. So there is a question, is there any affinity between the user and this item? Can we generalize from this data? Do we want to optimize the 2 clicks that the user wasn't happy with? So these clicks are problematic. So what we wanted to do is to try and not to learn from them and to remove them from the data set of our CTR model. So on the one hand, it makes sense to remove them and not predict them because these clicks are not good for the advertiser and are not good for the user. On the other hand, this click will happen in the future. So our prediction might be biased because we won't see them. The model is blind to them. So this is a small problem, just 1 minute. But the biggest problem is that we have this data only for part of our advertisers. The definition of a click as accidental is relying on a post-click information. And some of our advertisers share this data with us and some don't. So if we remove those clicks from the data set, we can remove them only for part of our advertiser. And for part of our advertiser, we can't remove them. What will happen when we go to our happiness function that is trying to give a score per item and to rank them between which item is the best? The items of advertisers that share this data with us will predict CTR only for real clicks. So when I give the CTR prediction, I will give CTR prediction based only on real clicks for some of the advertiser, and CTR estimation based on all clicks that is trying to predict CTR for accidental clicks as well for the other part of advertiser. And when I do the comparison, the advertisers that give us this information will be less competitive. And this is an undesired effect. As we said, there are promises to removing those clicks because they are bad for the advertiser. On the other hand, there is a risk because they make a skewed data set and might make the advertiser less competitive. However, in Taboola, we have a great tradition of A/B testing. We have huge scale, we have huge data, and when we want to check something, we go online, we open a variant of default of the regular model and another variant of a model that was learned data without accidental clicks. the result you see here are the result of the test of removing accidental clicks for the advertisers that share this data with us. And the number you see here are only for those advertisers, okay? So as you said, it does improve CVR and CPA. They get more conversion for the same number of clicks, and they pay less money for it, which is great. Like 8% improvement in CPA is huge. However, because they are less competitive, it kills scale. They are less competitive compared to other advertisers. So we recommend them less. They get less clicks, and the biggest problem is that they get less actions. So if an advertiser pay less for each action, but he got 40% less actions, he will not be happy. This is not good. This is bad. So we had to fix that. We saw there is a potential, but it's not enough. So we understood that what we have to do, because we don't have this data for the other part of the advertiser, we must keep the ratio of clicks to non-clicks as it was before the removal of the accidental clicks, in order for the competition to be fair and the prediction not to be biased. So what we did, for every accidental click that we removed from the dataset, we duplicated another click which wasn't accidental, where the user was engaged with the site. And in this way, the model didn't see the accidental clicks, but he saw the same ratio of clicks to non-clicks as before the removal. So we improved CVR and improved CVA, and we didn't kill scale. We still had the same number of impressions and even increased action by 17%, which is a great result. Summary, we have a problem of accidental clicks, and in order to solve it, we removed those accidental clicks from the dataset of the CTR model. However, because we have partial data about the accidental clicks that we get only from part of our advertisers, it creates a skewed data set which kill the scale for the advertisers that share this data with us. In order to solve it, we duplicated real clicks that the user was engaged with for every accidental clicks that we remove. And in this way, we improve the advertisers' metrics like CVR and CPA without hurting its scale.